What?
Don't worry about it. Anyways, have you met me, buddy Frank?
No. I thought it was just a 2-man mission.
I mean, he's just like, he's kind of like, he's just like a homie, mate. He's just a cool little guy.
Is it like a gerbil?
Maybe he's got like the soul of a gerbil. I'm not too sure. Hey, Frank, are you around, mate?
No.
No?
No. I'm real tired for this mission. But tell him I said hi.
Frank says hi. He's me pet French fry.
Oh. I might not be right for this mission.
You might not be right for this mission?
He stands up. Starts stretching a little bit. Sits back down. Goes, nothing.
All
Well,
right.
we should be landing soon. And by landing, I mean falling to the earth at high speeds.
That is what I live for, mate. That is like, just slash it off my bucket list, mate. Cross it off. I'm ready to jump out of this plane, mate.
You hear the sort of noise go off for this. It's sort of a dull siren-y noise, and the back chute of this hangared plane like kind of opens up. And he gets up and he's like, "See you on the ground, buddy." And he jumps out of the plane.
I like stand up and I stretch, crack my knuckles, crack my neck, all that stuff, like roll my ankle real quick. And then I do a couple of steps and I run and do like a round off back handspring, like infinite backflip off of the plane until I start to plummet close enough to the earth that I open up and then do my safe deploying.
All right, you safely deploy, and you see after your flips, because it's really hard to perceive, you see Mark's quite a bit below you. He seems to have nose dived towards the planet, but he does deploy a chute of some sort. It does look a bit different. It has like Ryatsu to hold it up, and it seems pretty odd to you. And he hits the ground pretty hard, but it doesn't seem to create a lot of shockwave. But you land pretty close to him, near the location that you guys are supposed to, go towards. There should be some subterranean supplies, sort of like a hatch, secret entrance type thing.
Am I able to use my Ryatsu to like do a ninja landing, like very silently?
Silently, no, but you can definitely make it quieter.
Okay.
Go ahead, roll. Dexterity
Rolling.
or agility, your choice.
Dexterity or agility? My dexterity and my agility are the same. Okay. All right.
Yeah, you try to be as cool as possible, and you land, and you know it is fairly quiet, but then you start sliding because like your chute takes in too much energy, and so you just start sliding forward, and you're like panicking a little bit, and then you correct your panic, so that you don't look like a fool for more than like 3 seconds. But Marks isn't around you, so you think you get away with it. And for the sake of the comedy, I will roll Marx's roll publicly. Unrecognized command. Fine. Why? Okay. There it is. He notices for sure. Through the forest croppings, he kind of, not forest, the sparse treescape, he can see you past it, and he plays it off like he doesn't really notice, but he surely does. And he makes a sort of a sigh inside of his helmet, and you can kind of hear a like mild amount of interference through the microphone, but it doesn't sound like a sigh to you because helmets.
Woo! Nailed it, mate.
All right, we have to go 3 clicks right. Eastern. Whichever direction is relevant to you. He takes off his helmet, and this is the first time you've seen him. He has slicked back purple hair that's sort of like what looks like it's stapled in place. It's not a wig, but with how adhered to his head it is. It seems bizarre. He throws his helmet to the side.
I guess I also take off my helmet.
Good seeing your face again, Jonty. You've never met him before. Aside from
Yeah, mate. It's been ages.
Yeah. I guess you could say ages. He looked at you with a reserved stare and then walks off towards the location that you guys are meeting. You guys are picking up equipment in a sort of subterranean hatch. And he makes his way there. He opens up the hatch, standard way. There's a keypad, but it's like kind of under a thing. It's a whole 9 yards. And he opens it. And he gets down there and he starts arming himself. He seems to be using primarily, just like military grade stainless steel knives. They can be enhanced with Ryatsu. You get the impression that he's maybe probably like really low percentage Quincy, or he could be just like a Fullbringer. It's slightly hard to tell. Hollow Ryatsu would be normally the catch-all way to kind of feel out if somebody's like potentially a Fullbringer, but he has such low levels of visibly like discernible Ryatsu that it's a bit hard without placing your hands against him or something to just guess. But he's one or the other based off what you can tell.
Okay. So definitely not like someone in the party.
Like pretending no.
Or just like, no, I mean like as far as our builds go, like we don't have like a
Quincy yeah, he's nothing like them. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he arms up and he hands you a couple items. Do you take them, or do you check them, or do you believe him, or
what are they?
It looks like one of them is some sort of scanner, and one is like some sort of visor. You assume the scanner is like it looks like, like how like a device a cop might use to like read a speedometer. Like they point it at something going fast. Like it has that visual style to it, but in this case, it just beeps when it highlights people who have the authentication IDs that you need to rescue them. The refugees, basically. And then the visor is for mission briefing information, you would presume. Like real-time updates.
Is there any sort of like visual like live stream feed going through the visor if I wear it? Like, is he going to be able to see what I'm seeing?
You roll int.
I'm going to roll int. Damn.
With your knowledge of it, it doesn't seem like it to you, but you think the idea is plausible given that one hacker guy got your search history off of like nothing. So you're kind of sketched out about that possibility. More so than the average individual, but yeah, you have no way of confirming it based on your intelligence looking at this device. But you would skew towards it being a bit sus.
Yeah, so I think to not raise suspicion, I'll hang on to it for now. Because I feel like if I refused it, he would sort of be like, why are you inting? Right, so
it's true.
I'd roll low in, mate. Get over it.
That's fair. Yeah, so you put it on as per usual.
Yeah, I put it on for now, and I try to see if it does anything.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you get some heads of information. You don't know if it's recording anything you're looking at, but you move along with that at the back of your mind as a very likely possibility in your brain.
Does he happen to be wearing anything of the sort, or no?
He's wearing a visor as well, yeah. But you're just, you're kind of, because he handed it to you and what the chief told you, you're more likely to be on edge that he handed you a defective product than normally. Also, he was the first one to walk into this place. Like, he's the one that signed in and kind of walked in. So had he, I don't know, like had somebody swap stuff out before or whatever, or if he swapped it out literally before you walked in, those weren't completely impossible things given your sight line.
Yeah.
So better safe than sorry, but could also just be a completely normal visor. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
Do you want to proceed with the mission, or you want to do anything specific beforehand?
What else is there in the bunker?
It's pretty normal. There's like some actual bunks. There's some equipment, but you guys have basically been loaded with those equipment. And then there's like, technically they're crates you can look through. Mostly like just rations and extras of things. You know, technically you could look for a visor, though I will likely roll a straight up luck check on it, since if you're sifting through boxes for too long, he's gonna be like, what the heck are you doing? But if you just decide to open a box, find a visor literally like frame 1, and then put it on instead of yours, it won't come off like the weirdest thing ever. Because you could like argue, oh yeah, no, this one is real tight on my head, or you know, you could like play it off.
Okay. What kind of rations are there?
They're pretty dull, but they're dried fruits and stuff in sort of like a airtight container that's sealed Ryatsu.
Anything Kangaroo Burger King flavored or no?
No, not at all. Not close.
Okay.
Anti-kangaroo.
Anti-kangaroo. Too far away from home for that, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess I'll open one, sift my hand around, and see what I find. See what I pull out.
All right. Good roll, luck roll. Just pure 100, no mod. Yeah, you don't find any visors, but yeah, you find some rations. You can take a pear ration. It will give you +8 intelligence for an hour if you ate it.
+8 for an hour. Okay.
Yeah, better to take it before a check than to take it earlier than the check. Given that this mission isn't super short because it's cinematic.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so I'll hang on to it.
All right. You guys leave this sort of bunker, and you make your way towards the center of this island. In doing so, you will roll a dexterity check, just to check if, you know, maybe you see any stealthy people, or you find a good route, kind of like, you know, you have to see what their pathing is like to, you know, get away from the MGS guards. Yeah, you notice really quickly there doesn't seem to be very many stealth operatives. It makes sense to you, given that, like, had they just had operatives sitting in trees all day, they probably get pretty busted up. So you observe their pathing, and you do find that there's actually like there is a clear hole in their pathing, but your roll is so good that you actually think it's deliberate, like it's a trap. So you actually point out a different opening to yourself and Marks. You're like, in the northwestern corner, they kind of like, it actually looks super secure at a time, but there's like a lapse. And you think that it's unlikely that they're, with how often they kind of meet into each other, it's unlikely they radio each other if one of them is gone, because it's all day with them, you know? It's so boring. That you think they probably call in for each other being like a little late all the time. So you get that impression. Do you want to relay that information more directly to Marks, or do you want to just kind of, you know, superimpose it your will by walking that way?
I'm just gonna start walking that way.
All right. We'll see how, you know, Marks feels about that real quick. He's with it. He actually, you know, he's like, this guy might know more than he lets on. Maybe he just acts a fool. You know, that's what Mark's is thinking in his head. He proceeds behind you. And you guys make your way to the northeastern front. And you see these two people are, they meet, they start departing from each other, and you pounce on your opening. What do you do to this guard?
This guard? Trying to think. I think I want to create a distraction using an inanimate object, doing bringer manipulation on it.
All right. You slide out a magazine as if it flies towards him like a bird. It hits him in the side of the head, and he's like, "What is this?" And he looks at it, and he gets pervy magged from Metal Gear Solid. He starts looking at it.
I was
You're like,
gonna say they're actually the Metal Gear Solid guards.
And you, as he walks over to like sort of not let his other compatriots see, he gets too close to a locker, and you spring out from inside the locker. You grab him, put him inside, tape his mouth shut, wrap his hands, all within one swift motion, and you shut the locker on him.
I do a little cool. I do one of those like little hand, like dusting my hands off real quick.
Yeah. Just a part of the job, Marks gives you from the bushes farther away. He gives you a little thumbs up with a little glint at the top.
Mm-hmm.
You both make your way into the northern kind of back entrance of this base, and based on the layout, Marks kind of holds his hand up and he activates some sort of ability. Now that he's used it, you get the impression that it's definitely more Quincy oriented. And he activates this ability that makes a bunch of these sort of strings of Ryatsu fly out, and they seem to hack into the cameras and other devices in the space.
Ooh.
And he lets you know, he's like, "I can disable them for about a half hour. You go on ahead. I can't use this ability while moving at high speeds." You choose to believe him, or you can roll to check against his lie/truth.
That's undetectable, right? My little scan here?
Yeah, it's undetectable. You're just feeling him out, kind of.
Yeah.
This is a dexterity.
Dexterity.
You definitely get the impression that he's lying, but you wouldn't call him out on it.
Okay.
Given the circumstance. But it's definitely registered in your mind that that's definitely not true. You've actually, when Chitaka bought those books on various races, you actually, like, while you were drunk one time, you just started reading through them too, because you were like, you know what, maybe Chitaka will talk to me more about things that she likes if I know what they're about too. And so you kind of read, you asked to borrow a book, and it just so happens to be a little bit about some Quincy stuff, and you know that the Quincy's obviously can move at high speeds while using most of their abilities. There's no restriction in that way.
Okay.
So he's definitely trying to use your knowledge of the race against you, but it doesn't fly.
All right.
You proceed forward, and you kind of make your way to the lower sections. A lot of the armed guards are kind of positioned in such a way that they're, in front of a lot of cells. They're walking back and forth. You know that you're going to have to take probably all of them out. But they can't radio in, or this will become a big problem. Now, the radios aren't jammed right now, at least in terms of short-range communication. So they won't notify the entire base on a failure, but they will notify the people on the floor, which will make this annoying.
Looking through to see if there's anything that I have that could interfere with that, but I don't think there is. I don't have like the Quincy hacker man ability there, but best thing I have is like making some kind of like, I don't know, maybe manipulating the soul of objects. My first thought, honestly, was just jet kick and like take them all out in one go if they happen to line up perfectly.
Yeah, it's not like lined up per se, but I guess there is a moment in which they are kind of like in a line. So it's not impossible to attempt a jet kick at a like precise moment, if you're willing to wait. If you're not willing to wait because you're, because Mars's aforementioned lie suggested he had a limited duration, then it depends on you.
Do you think I can influence their positioning by doing more distraction memes?
To be honest, no. You get the impression that from the last time that they rarely change their positions. Even if somebody's missing, they just call it in and then continue their patrol.
Okay. From their positioning, could I do a jet kick to get to one area and then sort of just kick spiral the rest of them to knock them out?
Yeah, you can do that. So you jet kick, you fly forward at high speed. You definitely sweep somebody by the legs and catch them before they hit the ground. You hit another guy with him, and then you do a spiraling kick and you nail 2 more guards in the face. You catch all of them under your hands. It's sort of hard to hold them without them getting in the way. So you find a Hitman-style fridge-looking thing, and you just throw all of their bodies in there. It doesn't seem like it would fit by normal standards, but it does. Like
Once again,
designed.
I dust my hands off and realize that like the collision's working funny right now.
Yeah, that's so weird, you know. So yeah, you just do that, and then in this facility, there seems to be about 5 of these. From pulling things out of the various guards' pockets, you do eventually get a key card that's only on one of them. So you're glad that you took all of them out so quickly with no problems, generally speaking. And you swipe the card against them. You notice that they are kind of erroring out, and you get the impression that this might be due to Mark's ability as well. So you can either call him in and ask him to temporarily disable the ability. You kind of look around you. There is some cameras, but you think you can like break them or restrict them in some way prior to this if you needed to. But it would involve you probably having to do a little bit of wall destruction. You've done a little bit of that in your time. And so if you break a hole in the wall, you think that you can you've seen enough cameras that you can take away just the vision, and then the camera will be stuck on a frozen picture, right? Until it's auto updated, which requires a cable. Okay. Yeah, so you kick a hole through the wall and you pull out the wires for the various cameras, and then you call up Marks. You're like, what do you say?
Oh, I swiped a key card off of one of these guards, but it doesn't seem to be grant me access, mate. You think that's due to your ability there?
Probably is. Let me turn it off for just the bottom section. Over and out.
I'll write you back in when I've gotten access, mate. Over. And so
Copy.
I go real quick and I try it again.
All right, yeah, you try it. Works fine this time. And you get everybody behind you, and you make your way back towards where you came from. And Marks isn't to be found. You must have moved somewhere else, or something dubious is happening. But you get a sort of, like complex expression. Do you want to go out where you came from, the original entrance? Do you want to go a different way? Do you want to blow a hole through the place? What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are, I need to look for that orb, but I don't think the visor should be on me as I go looking for it, because there's a good chance that I'm still suspecting that there's some kind of feed that he can see through it with his Hackerman ability, whether the thing has a camera or not. I get the feeling that he's got some Ryatsu that'll let him do that. Anyways. I
see. Yeah. So do you want to do something that basically gets the visor destroyed that looks pretty normal, or do you just throw it off?
I feel like what's plausible and believable for Jonty is he'd just run headfirst into a wall.
Okay. Yeah, you just...
But... But yeah, like... It would have to... Yeah. It would have to make some kind of sense, but... I think it's believable that Jonty would just run headfirst into a wall.
Alright. Yeah, Jonty goes out with all the people, and he realizes the situation, and in a desperate attempt to sort of like break the visor but kind of make it look normal, he's going to activate his clad type full ring type 2 and propel himself forward, but he's going to miss the angle on a corner really slightly, so it kind of knocks the right side of his visor off and breaks that section of it. And then at that point, he's like, he's gonna make up some expletives and throw the rest of it off. And yeah, he just gets mad, and it's a very believable performance, honestly. It looks like something you do. Marks would totally believe it. He'd be like, damn, this guy.
Oh, good night, fucking shit, mate. Fuck.
Yeah. So you now that you've knocked this thing off of you, you look through like some of the storerooms. You just go really, really quickly because you don't want to leave a lot of people like standing in danger for a while, because you're trying to get these refugees out.
Mm-hmm.
You quickly go through and you slam people's heads into walls, and you go at really quick speeds, and you find this room in which is just storing this object, and you grab it, and you feel a pulsing energy from it. It kind of hypnotizes you with how it feels, but you can roll wisdom.
Roll wisdom. Okay.
Yeah, you have no problem. It does not affect your mind at all. In fact, you understand what it was trying to do. You have an impression that this orb is probably some sort of artifact, and you've kind of put the pieces together. In fact, there are remnant, sort of memories you kind of can like surmise from this object, and your thoughts are that Marks is actually after this more than anybody else, but you found it before him. And this probably amplifies his ability quite a lot. But it would probably be noticeable if Mark saw you with this because he could feel the energy of it. So you quickly wrap it in this very restrictive energy, and you use your bringer ability to kind of hold its energy within, sealing it from the outside, and you stuff it in your bag. You make your way back to the refugees, and you get out of the back entrance as if nothing had happened. And Marks, at this point, finding that the not knowing your progress due to the visor, and can't find the orb in any way, assumes that maybe it had been transferred out of the island due to you creating a lot of noise or whatever, right? He's just blaming you at this point in his mind. He makes his way out of the facility shortly after you through a different exit. And he goes, "We have to go."
Yeah,
don't have much
mate.
time.
I'm just. Oh man, that hurt, mate. That fucking hurt, mate.
What happened to your visor?
Oh man, I was trying to go fast, mate, like supersonic speeds, and I just ran into the corner too fast, mate, and I just.
Oh. That does sound like you.
Oh, mate.
I apologize.
Speedrun brain rot, mate.
One of us all. All right. Well, we're gonna have to get out really quick. Do you have that guard from earlier? You can lay him sprawled out.
The one with the dirty mag, mate.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, mate. Hold up. I go to the locker and I took him out.
Yeah, you take him out and you rip the tape off his mouth and you kind of unwrap him up, take all the bonds off of him, and you throw him onto the ground, kind of along the path, so that they'll find him. Mm-hmm. As if he's sleeping on the job, though. You put a little you put his arm under his head, make it convincing.
Mm-hmm.
And you make your way back to Marks.
I make sure the dirty mag is over his head as he's sleeping.
Yeah. I finished it up. Got it. Perfect. Yeah. So you make your way back to Marks, and Marks gets on the retreating aquatic vehicle. He rushes you to get on it. Do you get on it? Do you check the device? Do you believe it's totally a normal thing? Who knows?
Yeah, if I could quickly just I guess inspect it from wherever I'm standing right now. Dex. Yo! The 69, mate.
But you have no problem. You notice it's completely fine. He definitely did not tamper the boat. You get on. You guys depart. Mark's clearly upset, but he kind of pulls off a sort of steel look, looking at the horizon as if he's, he kind of tries to pretend that it's like mission accomplished, but you can clearly tell he's very upset based off of the knowledge you already have of his intentions during the mission.
Mm-hmm.
He goes,
But he's poker facing it pretty well, eh?
he's pretty good at his job, yeah, but he's like kind of upset. He wasn't trying to make the mission fail. From what your perspective, you can definitely tell he didn't like make alarms go off or anything crazy, but he definitely had a vested interest in this object that the chief wanted you to obtain.
Mm-hmm.
He turns back towards you and he goes, by any chance, do you think did you happen to run upon some sort of colorful orb?
Don't think so. Although I am seeing stars. I don't know if that counts.
Yeah, no, I mean, those aren't, not those types of orbs. Not the stars.
Okay. Yeah, it's still spinning, mate.
I see. Okay, well, I'm gonna take a nap. And he goes to the underside of the... this is like a bigger-ish boat, enough so that it has like its sleeping area. And he kind of goes into that section and he just lays down. And yeah, mission accomplished. You make your way back to the chief. Marks never finds out about any of this. And you get a perfect score, a triple S rank mission completion.
All right, mate. Backflip to the split celebratory.
Sounds so dangerous. Yeah. You obtain... you deliver the orb to the chief, and you obtain... marks as failure. Yeah. So, as that completes, you make your way to the Soul Society, as you had promised Chitaka before that you would make your way there. You kind of meet up with her, and you talk a bit off screen with her about what she wants to do. She wants you to meet up with her family, kind of get some information on this Quincy lad.
Mm-hmm.
You make your way to the world of the living. You try to find a good way. You've been doing stealth agent stuff for the chief here and there. You just finished a mission, so you're kind of on, a high in terms of your mission aptitude. And so you play into your part really well. You get involved in their school. You're like, you're an exchange student, all this, that. You get bullied. You pay off a bully to bully you, like kind of close to their house. And, this Quincy kid, not liking what he's seeing, kind of threatens the kid with a sharp stare. And the bully is like, what are you going to do, pipsqueak? And you grab the bully from behind. You're like, don't worry. I've got him. Run away. This is my problem. And you get elbowed off. The bully's like, what, you want more? And then the Quincy kid just kind of hits him from behind and knocks him out. And you don't get the impression that he's very violent, because you feel like, based off what you've heard and now read, because that role from before, some Quincy's can get directly to danger and they'll, shoot adversaries or whatever. But he's clearly playing it kind of coy. So he kind of grabs you by the hand and drags you off. And he's like, you can go to the place where I'm staying. We could treat that wound of yours. And you have like cuts on your head that you kind of put there beforehand, but also like played into.
From the visor.
Yeah. No. But like, just as part of this whole like actorial gag to like look like the bully injured you a lot, so that he would take you back home to heal you.
All right. Well, thank you, mate.
Yeah. I'm Utage, by the way. I mean, family name. You don't look very Japanese.
No, mate, I'm from Australia. I'm from down under.
Oh, that's crazy. Never been to Australia.
Well, if you want an idea of what it looks like, just go upside down, stand on your hands, and, and then that's basically it.
He holds back laughter, but doesn't want to make fun of you by laughing. But you can tell he finds it to be quite hilarious. Because, what's your name, by the way?
Oh, my name is Jonty McNabb.
Ah, that's a crazy name. I mean, I guess I'm from Japan, so I expected like a bunch of vowels.
Utage, you said, right? It's a family name. What's your first name, kid?
Oh yeah, that's normal in other places, right? It's kind of embarrassing, but yeah, my name is Cho. Tage.
Yeah, I.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a cool little name, mate.
Well, yeah, probably. All right, well, let me get the med kit. He like runs off in the room, and you kind of look around the room to kind of get an impression of his likes and dislikes based off what you're seeing. He seems to be staying with obviously Chitaka's parents, but they're not home at the moment. They're at work, and or out buying stuff. You can't know. And Kyo stays here occasionally, and this room's kind of mostly for him. It's like a guest room. You get the impression that stuff in here is, it's his. So you look around and try to keep it, light, like you're just like a homie, rather than you're looking through like you're some spy. I'm kind of like lifting things, kind of sifting through it, casually putting things back, but all the while using your dex check that you're about to roll to kind of look around for clues. Dun, dun, dun. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, you find that he's definitely a Quincy based on the information. You actually find a Quincy cross, but it's closer to the one that you recognize to be part of clan currently headed by an Uryu Ishida. But it looks a bit different. Might be modified Neo Quincy kind of thing. Maybe because of the problems from before. But it has quite a different shape to it. And you kind of, file it into the back of your mind to look into later. And he comes back and he's like, Jonty, sit down on the bed. And then he starts checking your injuries, and he's going to roll a medicine check, guys. It's crazy, plus his intelligence. He rolls horribly, but has good intelligence. And yeah, he just starts doing it. He clearly misses, and it stings and stuff. But you're a hardened soldier. But you play into it. You're like, ah.
Wait, he has 26 intelligence, isn't he? Like a kid.
Yeah,
That's kind of.
he's a high school student.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Oh no. 1 sec, and he quickly pulls something out that he probably shouldn't be using on you, but like he doesn't want to like make such a horrible impression because he rolled like garbage. And so he uses some sort of like Quincy tool, kind of applies it, but he makes it seem like it's like some sort of balm or something, like an ointment, rather than like what it actually is. But you obviously know what it is. And it heals you really quickly, and it doesn't feel bad.
Oh, wow.
That was... Yeah, it's like family medicine and stuff. Yeah, he like corks it, or like screws on the top.
Well, I'm feeling rides right now, mate. You did a really good job patching me up.
Oh, that's good. I mean, why did that bully beat you up to begin with?
That's a great question. I've got no idea, mate.
Oh, that's crazy.
Wrong place, wrong time?
In this neighborhood?
I guess any neighborhood might.
Wow, that sucks. You often get harassed in Japan over your morals and ethics?
Uh, I don't believe so. I mean, there's always going to be like stuff that goes down a bit differently in different places, but like, no, even back home, mate. Like, people picked on me back then, but like, I kind of just brushed it off. But yeah, mate. Like, I don't know.
Well, I mean, as long as you're okay, I guess. Just if you see a guy like that again, uh, run off. Your legs look pretty strong.
Yeah, you could say that I never skip leg day.
Yeah, I need to work out more, but I'm too busy studying.
Well, you don't want to neglect your studies, mate. It's important to have a good noggin on your head.
That's fair. And as that happens, you hear like sort of like people coming back home. Seems to be 3 people from what you can detect. Uh, and you recognize these energy signatures to probably be like 3 adults, 2 females, 1 male.
Oh, these your folks coming back, mate?
One of them is and he yells down the hall, and he's like, "Oh, I have a guest over," and they're like, "A guest?" Like they're so surprised. And they come by to meet you. So you meet Chitaka's
I,
mother, father, and this the kid's mom.
I stand up stiff as a board, and I fold myself in half, head facing down to the ground, and say, "Nice
Dang.
to meet you all. Nice to meet you all."
You don't have to be so formal. He like pats you on the head. He's like a friend of Kyo's a friend of ours. And he goes, "How about you guys go to the arcade actually?" And he like hands you some couple bills, and he pats you off on the shoulder. You
Johnny's
get
Johnny's eyes light up. Arcade, mate. Yeah.
you get the impression though that he's trying to like kind of usher you guys out, maybe to talk about something. So on your way out, kind of playing into it or whatever, you kind of ask them some questions that Chitaka asked you to ask them about like how their lives are going, stuff that she can't check very easily, like their
Mm-hmm.
business or family life or whatever.
Nice place you've got here, mate. I mean, what do you do to keep this place so nice, mate? Like, what kind of work do you guys do to afford a
Oh,
place like this?
I'm an architect, and she's mostly stay at home, but she helps with tutoring Kyo here, and he ruffles Kyo's hair. And the aunt, quote unquote, mom of Kyo, uh, she, kind of looks at you at like very carefully, but then she kind of just looks away, and she's like, "Yeah, just silver spoon."
Hmm. Nice, nice. It's Jonty is fighting the urge to introduce Frank to them right now.
Well, it is well averse, but yeah, they kind of usher you out the door, and after you get outside, and Kyo gets some of his shoes and some of his stuff, you kind of like, have you tell Kyo that uh you need to use the bathroom actually, and he kind of like lets you back in. You like very stealthily go to the bathroom, and you shut yourself inside, and you tell him, he can wait outside or whatever. And you stay in there intentionally, kind of like use your bringer manipulation, sort of hear what the souls are hearing in a radius around you, mostly the ground. So you can kind of hear into their conversation. But it sounds like they recognize that the mom recognizes that you're a full bringer. The other two, she doesn't let know this very much. She's just like, I'm not sure Kyo should be hanging out with that boy. And you could tell Chitaka's parents are like, nonsense, he's a good kid, he needs friends. And she's kind of like, kind of upset about it. But she does kind of agree. and she's not like that much of a hater, but she,
Yeah,
you know, she is afraid due to the amount of Holoriatsu that Fullbringers have that like maybe could affect him. She's like paranoid, but it's very like parental security rather than it being like towards you in any particular way. But you get the impression that they do know about the Quincy stuff, like Chitaka's parents and whatnot. And you start writing a bunch of notes to give Chitaka later, that I'll compile at a later date. And you kind of complete your mission in that way, and you go off to go to the arcade after compiling this data. And you ride off into the sunset on bicycles. You just borrow, you pay to borrow one or whatever, and you ride off to the arcade. The sun starts coming down, an orange hue lights up the sky, and your arc currently ends. You play a lot of various games at the arcades, and you can imagine that in your mind.
Play some House of the Dead, the DDR, the
I
fighting
don't know what
games.
House of the Dead is anymore.
House of the Dead 10.
House of the Dead fucking 58.
Yeah. The real joke is just to say the current House of the Dead because I never made a shit another one.
As I'm doing DDR, I'm just like, oh, I creased my shoe, and I try to like get down and like really fix it, because I still got that 200 drip, the scare and the hose drip.
Yeah. All right, Shimisuku. Are you alive, Quay?
Yes.
I see. All right, Quay. You depart from the military base in Africa to head back to your homeland, the Soul Society, and you feel sharp pains rippling from your soul, and it turns the filter of the screen into an inverted color and back to normal.
Damn it. Man. Get this fixed. I wonder. Damn it.
You feel these sharp pains until you kind of get back and you enter the Serite through a transportational gate. And your mother sees you, and her face goes white with shock. She like kind of grabs you and hugs you.
Thanks. Long time no see.
What did you do?
Well, you won't believe this. Kind of died twice.
Twice?
My soul. Yes.
Oh no. We have to get this seen by the captains, the head captains, anybody. And she runs off towards the 4th Division, and she kind of tugs at your hand. Do you go with her, or you kind of like hold her back a little bit?
I'm gonna go with her.
You let yourself get pulled along, and you make it to the 4th Division. There, the captain kind of checks you out for your health.
Hey, Sama. Haven't seen you in a while. Wish we could have met in better circumstances.
Hey, quiet down, I have to check. And she's like checking over, and yeah, it's quite damaged. So she's like, he's going to have to go into immediate surgery. They kind of discuss this surgery, and they confirm with you that tomorrow they're going to admit you into a quite lengthy surgery that will take place over the course of a couple weeks.
Wow. A couple weeks. I think I need to talk to Dad about something.
That's fair. I'll make your favorites. And she gets a early dismissal, and she starts grabbing ingredients and stuff, and she has Asane escort you to your dad's dojo.
Knock, knock. Dad.
He busts through the door, but after kind of seeing you, instead of, his normal roughhousing, he's eyes open wide in shock. But he kind of smiles as if you've toughed out a great danger. He kind of grabs you by the shoulder. He's like, I see you've gone through a lot, son.
Yes, I have, Dad. And honestly, If it wasn't for your training, I would have died 3 times.
He laughs boisterously. Of course it is, Shimisuku. You made me proud. He like picks you up. He puts you on his back. He's like, let's go. I'm sure your mother is making you a feast if she's seen you first. And he jumps over the walls of the various buildings of the Soul Society, and he kind of takes you to a place that you guys used to fish at when you were younger.
Dad, I need to ask you something.
What's up?
About our family.
Oh?
I met someone. He said that.
Like a certain somebody, or?
Yes.
I'm so proud of you, son.
Forgot his name.
What?
Forgot his
Oh my god! I just not realized the joke.
I mean, I understand what you want, son. I mean, it's fine either way, but I was always under the impression that you were into people like Asane.
I am. But this is special someone. It's very important.
Okay.
He knew us. He knew me. I think his name was, wait a minute, Wax.
Oh, whew. Okay. I think this is a different thing than I'm thinking. Unless you also feel that way about Wax.
I don't know. I mean, Wax was pretty cool, I guess.
Oh, okay.
I'm with Maya.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
I don't. Kyojin men don't cheat.
Ah, yeah, that's absolutely correct.
So
Lest they be dead.
Tell me about this Wax and our family from elsewhere.
I see. He sets you down really quick, and he activates sort of secret clan technique, and it opens up this small, tiny portal where he pulls out 2 scrolls from a sort of small gate. And you've rarely ever seen this technique, but he hands you one of them. He goes, I think this is in order. He hands you a sort of a tapestry of Illudra. Well-drawn tale of a bygone era. 600 years ago, a calamity befell a section of your family, and many lost boom. There you go. I'll also slide this into item info. Crediting purposes. Liam, you added the marks as failure to your inventory, correct?
Yes, I did.
Okay, no problem. It's not the type of item I would put in item info because it's basically just an IOU, but
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask you so that I don't forget. All right. Yeah, he obtains the scroll, he kind of hands it to you, and within it are tales of, some of your ancestors, many of which are sort of secondary family members, used to have these kind of bizarre techniques sort of in the Americas. After a lot of them are captured, some of which are killed, and your grandfather, your ancestor basically decided to seal himself to save most of them. Many of those techniques were lost, but some of those people who carried those techniques as sort of a last order by him went to various places to store those techniques, one of which is in the Americas and one of which is in Europe. And this maps both of those locations. You can choose to go to one of those two places, as stated in a previous roleplay for the next story arc. So they're always obtained in the same order, regardless of which place you go. So if you go to America, next, you will get the same as if you go to Europe. They're just always obtained in a tiering order. But it's more like getting the full recipe gives you the strong technique. It's not necessarily like the actual like thing swaps, but it's like getting part 1 and part 2 to the techniques.
Wow. This is quite a coincidence. I heard we were going to these places next mission a couple months. So I guess I'll once I get better. Once we
Yeah.
review,
I'm sure your mother is prepping that now, but for now, let's meditate.
sure, Father.
Meditate by the water, the spring calming your soul. You know, it eases the pain. As your father also kind of like, after meditating, fishes a little bit on the side. As if time has passed at a rapid rate, you kind of wake up as if, yep. You wake up and it's almost dark out, and your dad kind of, you can feel him carrying you as the wind blows through your hair. You make it back towards your family residence. Pretty large manor, in fact. Kind of slightly in the offskirts. Not too dissimilar from like Ukitake's manor back in the day.
Mm. You know, Dad, it's been a while since you carried me like this. I lean and give him a kiss on the cheek. Love you, Dad.
Love you too, son. You gotta take care of yourself. All right.
Mm.
You know, I don't want to be carrying you every time you come back. And he laughs again, and a hearty laugh.
uh, Thank you, Father.
Sure.
I'll try not to. I'll try not to worry both you and Mom.
Yeah, I'm sure you won't worry us until you meet your end. So don't worry about it. He ruffles your hair. He sits you down, and you get your favorite food, whatever that may be.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Mother, you always know what I want. Or you always know how to cook a mean kangaroo burger.
I was literally gonna say it's kangaroo burger kid.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Directly sourced straight from Australia, just for you.
Speaking of which, did you hear about me conquering the Gobos?
Oh, please tell me the story.
So there I was, fighting the Kobobos, right? We were in basically New Zealand, okay? Fighting to protect Central Union. There I was with my comrades. I met a Gobo named Freddie D, and we became great friends. He told me about the plight of the Gobos, and I felt that it would bring our family great honor if I were to liberate people in the name of the Savory Tale. So, with the help of my friends, both old and new, I was able to do so very spectacularly. You know, and I'm even the sworn brother of a Ronkar now.
Wow. What a fantastical tale. Your dad's brought to tears.
Yeah, there was
As
a
if watching a great.
There was another Soul Reaper. You know, it was nice. It had fun.
That's fantastic. Your mom is super happy that you've gone out and done great adventures in the name of the Cerete, and she cast some, some temporary healing magic on you to kind of ease your pain as they kind of send you off to bed. And you can hear as you kind of move towards your room with your acute senses, they start talking sternly to one another about like how serious the situation is. But they believe they can get a lot done towards resuscitating your soul. But that's basically what they're talking about. But you don't get too worried because you almost feel cathartic, like a sense of catharsis with like how strong they are and how much they believe they can do.
Mhm.
That it almost is its own lullaby as you pass to sleep. The hardest me there ever was. You wake up tomorrow, you're strapped to a table, but this isn't the first time.
Yeah, this isn't my first rodeo. I'm just glad they let me sleep in this time.
That's true. Your dad's pushing this thing pretty quickly, and you fly into an operation room. Your mom's there, and head captain's there, and he looks over your soul, and he kind of shrugs it off and kind of walks out of the room. But you don't often see him, so it is kind of a gallant day per se. But he gives you a little bit of alcohol. He tells you to drink it before the surgery. It's gonna hurt a lot.
Thank you, Shinsui-sama. Taicho.
Of course. Well, take care. And he walks out. And you feel a plus 20 endurance from this very fine Ryatsu imbued alcohol. And it helps power up your body enough for this surgery. But yeah, you go under the knife for what feels like an eternity. You go through this hellish torture that is ripping your soul apart and reattaching it.
Ah! 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 Shit! Ah! Ah!
He sounds like an Agent K villain. He sounds like each episode of You're Already Dead.
Yeah. And it is successful. You obtain the many souls vessel.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Do that again. Let's do it again.
I'm glad you're okay, son.
Ugh. Mm. Take these straps off me.
Yeah, she takes them off. Your dad grabs you and kind of lifts you, but you're very wobbly since you haven't been able to move for 2 weeks
Ugh.
almost at this point.
Oh god. Wow. Has Maya asked about me?
Yes, a lot actually. You check your cell phone, which has not been available to you for a while, and it's lit up. You got like 26 messages.
God. Can you pay her a visit? Lord
Yeah, your
knows
dad picks you up and he puts you on his shoulder and he runs you over to her residence. Takes you there in record time, and you're in medical robes, but they're not like American medical robes. They're pretty like, you know, like normal. They're white and tied up, just nice, like a white kimono, but not very decorative.
Oh. I look at her with passion. My eyes burn at the sight of her beauty. My heart starts fluttering. and I smile at the sight of her. Hey, Maya. She looks at me with the same expression, runs to me, hugs me, and I hug her back. She kisses my cheek, asks, am I okay? She was very worried. In tears, she was worried. I rub her back as I'm giving her a big hug, and I tell her, yes, I'm okay. I'm gonna be okay. I was strong for the both of us. I told her not to worry because I'll handle everything. I'll just handle it. Okay. It's okay.
She's glad to see you're okay. She sobs for a while, but she feels a lot better after hearing you talk about it and saying that you're very well given the amount of time you were under. And she makes your relationship official. Big official.
Big official. She's going, yeah, we're gonna get married. She's gonna be my wife pretty soon. I proposed to her.
Dang.
After dying twice, I realized that, you know, life is finite. I can go at any moment. And I would rather have my last moments being with someone that I love. And I realized how much I loved Maya. She has been the backbone to me surviving out there in the wild. I thought about her with every strike, with every stroke of my blade. Protecting her smile. And so I got on one knee and I asked her, please, Maya Kashi, become Maya Kyojin. She said yes.
She says yes. You guys have a planned wedding date for after Act 2.
Yep. With the many souls vessel, I feel my soul more energized than ever. But something also feels strange. And so I will take further looks into what this means for my soul. And I think the best place to start is to start with my ancestry. I need to know what happened 600 years ago. I need to know what my ancestors came from, what these techniques are. But to do that, I'm going to have to get stronger. I know this now. I have so much to protect. I have new friends, a brother, a fiance, and a city. I go to my dad as soon as I'm able.
You are able.
Again, and to ask them more questions about my heritage. Our heritage. What is my birthright?
He takes you to the family library in which he grabs some dusty books and he hands them off to you. Tales of Legend. Blam.
Wow, Dad. I didn't realize we had books. I didn't realize we had so many.
They were kept a secret, hidden place until each of our clan heads become old enough.
Hmm. Makes sense.
I would go on for longer, but for right now, you must finish the lasting, preparations for your healing process, and we're going to move over to Art's story. Wow. There are some parts of Shimisuku's story that will be completed with Maggie because she had planned to do some things involving Shimisuku in her storyline. So, if you're available next week, I assume you have some availability, and can do some of that. That'll help finish out the rest of your stuff. But I don't want to keep Art to the extent that he's gonna pass out.
It is only.
Whoa. Sorry, you cut out what?
It's only 9. It's not like it's.
Yeah, it's not super bad, but I initially put that time on there because everybody here is also East Coast. All right, the great story of Kallum. Kallum,
I thought you said West Coast.
exactly, something like that. Callum's funny Scottish, Irish, Celtic sword. Glows with a sort of bright light on the eve of completing your guys' mission. And he kind of grumbles. And a sort of parchment appears glowing in front of you. It has instructions on it. And you read upon these instructions. They basically outline one of these quests that you haven't done in a long time, like probably over 100 years. But you recognize it as a quest of the Ancient Ones. And this itself might have been left by one of your brothers from a long time ago. But it points out that it needs you to go to South America. They're on the furthest eastern point. Yeah, what's up?
Oh, we're going to Brazil?
Yeah, you're going to Brazil. The
Fuck
furthest
off.
eastern point, you are to go there. There is a sacred cave that has terrifying monstrosities inside of it. But it houses a dangerous but important item stored in a jade box. As you finish reading, this tapestry burns into dust. Pretty common with tapestries of this type. The chief asks where you're heading back to for your break.
Well, it sounds like I'm going to Brazil.
I see. Well, I'll make arrangements then. Have fun in Brazil. And he sets you up on a helicopter. It's sort of a special type of helicopter. It goes really, really, really quickly, but it only houses a very small amount of people, of course.
Kallum's definitely at least seen a helicopter before because he used that one helicopter giant kill time.
Yeah.
I don't know how he would have come up with that if he'd never seen a helicopter. But I don't know if he's been in one.
That's fair. I feel like probably not, but this is definitely a fun time for him, seeing a helicopter like that he is so close to while it's moving. But you fly across the ocean at really high speeds on this helicopter. And eventually you jump out without a parachute. And they freak out for a second, realizing, wait, that's Kallum, it's cool. And they turn the helicopter and you slam into the ground, creating a magnitude 4 earthquake.
Am I that heavy? Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the force you land with, you know? You're not, like, belly flopping into the ground, but you're kind of stomped down when you land, you know?
Pretty fancy.
But you land not too far, but you must progress through this. I believe I could be wrong, but for the sake of saying this, because it's more fun this way, it's sort of like a rainforesty kind of situation.
Like a good rainforest.
Yeah. So you progress through this sort of rainforest. You feel like the Ryatsu here is really thick, but it's sort of acidic as well. Feels bizarre. The creatures of this region seem antithesis to yourself.
Like the way that the Eldritch thing did, or
Different. It feels like they're just a different type of creature, but for some reason they feel kind of poisonous, a little poisonous feeling to Arankars in specific, very specifically Arankars. Not Dragon Knights or any of those other types.
I feel personally attacked.
I would agree. I think this is pretty bad.
I forgot. It's going to take me a little bit to get used to having a talking sword.
It's okay. Let's head forward. Actually,
What kind of world do we live in? A talking French fry seems more normal to me than a talking sword.
good point. And it flies back into its sheath and points you like a wayfinder to your next location.
I get a waypoint marker? That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, the sword points towards where you have to go, and you kind of follow it through, ever the while finding poisonous arachnids and frog-like creatures flying at you. They're fairly large. They're like, 4 feet wide creatures. They're not tiny frogs. Do you attack them back, or you kind of just try to get away from them?
They're not big, so I'm not gonna put out the effort to fight them. They're just random,
Alright. Yeah,
random orcs and random scepters.
Yeah, you notice them coming a mile away. You start deflecting them to the side using your weapon while, like, kind of walking as if going always straight. They can't deter you from your location. You make your way to this giant maw-like stone entrance. In it, you can feel this sort of devilish power that seems to permeate this very poisonous mist that you've felt since you've arrived in this rainforest. But it seems that it's at apex in sort of this cave. But it's not like to the extent where it's like problematic for you, but you feel like if it was an average Arankar, they would be taking damage every second. Like a lot.
So it's like those rust lakes in the southwest of Noctilum in Xenoblade X.
Yeah, or like rads from like Fallout or something.
That's probably a more well-known example.
Yeah. One for the nerds and one for the normies. You make your way into this cave, and it's sort of the shadows on the walls kind of shift around as if moving, playing out a sort of visual storytelling medium to you. But you kind of get the impression the sword illuminates the area in front of you. You get the impression that these shadows might be living, but they aren't attacking.
Does it seem like they're trying to communicate at all?
They might be hieroglyphically speaking, but like...
Not in any language I can read.
Yeah, it's very unclear based off the traditions you've led your entire life and what you've read. But as you kind of proceed further, there's this sort of dark altar and then a tunnel that leads much further in. And on this dark altar, it seems like there's these 4 purple candles lit with a blue flame. And they sort of sit in a formation around this room. And there's this sort of dangerous looking artifact in the center, kind of made of something's body. you would assume, based on your monster killing knowledge. But you don't recognize it as a creature that you know of. But you kind of can trace the bones, given your archaeological background, back to about 3,000 years ago.
Hmm.
So this place has been here for a long time. The cave, in fact, is probably like newer than the bones.
That's weird. Chiatsu, can you understand what these shadows on the wall mean? They're making weird shapes.
Flies around and like kind of looks at them from various angles and comes back and he goes, I think it's a warning.
Oh, good. That means I need to go deeper.
Absolutely. A true warrior isn't scared by the shadows of their enemies. He flies down the tunnel kind of to scout out ahead, and he flies back and nests on your back. He goes, I can't go much further ahead without a lot of danger. It's actually quite damaging to my blade outside the sheath.
Well, no offense, but I'm more a pole person than a sword person, so I might not have used you.
Rough, but understandable. As you get down there, there's this series of colossal demonic creatures. They have like bluish green skin, and they're like 14 feet by 6 feet. And they have razor sharp claws, and they can extend their limbs a really high distance, like a Merkava or something. But they aren't like that. That's just an example to give.
I hope they're not like that, because he's toxic as frick.
Yeah. But they look at you as if, like trying to understand you more so than like they want to murder you, at least at this moment. But you definitely know that they're very much evil and want to kill you in their heart.
Well, clearly the only rational thing for me to do is to try and kill them. They're large.
Yes.
They're big monsters. I gotta try and kill them.
As they feel your killing intent, they themselves brandish their claws and they extend them out towards you from far away. What would you like to do?
I'm assuming this is a narrative.
It's a narrative fight. Yep.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna use my Gran Compio to hit.
Your what? Sorry.
The big fancy attack that I got.
Oh, I see.
I haven't used. Well, the Spanish name for it is Gran Columpio. It just means big swing.
Big swing. You reel back. You charge up a high amount of sort of hollow Ryatsu in your blade. What?
If it's a charge attack, don't I have to do like 3 or 4 regular attacks before I hit the triangle button? I mean, he's based on Guan Yu. So.
Yeah, but you don't. It's a good point though. But it's more like an R1 square type beat. So you pull your arm back and you swing at a high force, and their arms disintegrate. The very Ryatsu that's left over from the remnants of this, and you alight the vicinity, seeing that there's 14 such creatures even further in. You leap forward and bisect these two creatures with a very similar technique, and they disintegrate into dust as if made of, ash. And the other ones leap at you in a frenzy to tear apart your flesh.